Jayanti Natarajan represents the Congress. Ravi Shankar Prasad represents the BJP. We have Sankarshan Thakur of the Telegraph newspaper with us, and also Prashant Bhushan, who is a member of the Lokpal Joint Drafting Committee. Jayanti Natarajan, what is the Prime Minister's position in your view? Do you think the Prime Minister should make his position clear on where he stands on the inclusion of the Prime Minister under the Lokpal?
Well, I think there's a national debate going on, and I think that it's very important for us not to second guess Parliament. The position of the Prime Minister, the position of my party, the position of Parliament will soon be known when the bill is brought to Parliament for discussion.
So what's the suspense?
There's absolutely no need to second guess it, and there is absolutely no need for us to come out with a particular stand at this point of time.
Because why not? The whole country wants to know. Why not?
No, Arnab, there is a time. Obviously, I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say that it is only Parliament that can legislate for the country. No matter, and I also want to make the point that we are as much a part of quote-unquote civil society as anybody else. It's not as if civil society is something that's distinct from elected members of Parliament. And as the debate continues,
that's all right.
And finally when the bill comes to Parliament, everybody's stand, I think, will become very clear.
Okay, let me get a second point of view in. Mr. Prasad, your view on the inclusion of the Prime Minister, are you prompting, is the RSS prompting Mr. Anna Hazare, especially on this particular point, because Mr. Manish Tiwari did say that today?
All this is happening because in Congress the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Pranab Babu reacted so strongly. I have my regard for him because of the drubbing he has received from within the Congress by Digvijay Singh and others. Others say he went at the bidding of the Prime Minister at the airport to receive Baba Ramdev. All these things are well known. But I will tell the Congress people, please have some new medicine. Blaming the RSS for everything is an expired medicine. In 70s when JP was leading the anti-corruption movement and misuse of Indira Gandhi, JP was called the face of RSS. Though JP is much taller to what Anna Hazare or others are. I have a great personal regard for him for having worked with him in the Bihar movement. The people rejected it. In the Bofors agitation scandal, when VP Singh was leading the agitation, VP Singh was called the face of RSS and the BJP. JP was the Jansangh days. Again the people rejected and Rajiv Gandhi was given a big drubbing. The country has moved forward. It's 2011.
Arnab,
now if everything
may I
is
respond?
Something, again blaming the RSS is the worst kind of political hypocrisy and refusal to realize the people's sense of disgust about this corruption. That's one point I would like to
Arnab,
highlight
may I
today.
respond?
Ma'am, I will let him complete. I want to get everyone's view. Yes. I want to get everyone's view in first.
He's made a long speech. I'm
asking a very
about the Congress.
No, I'm asking a very pointed question. Pointed question is I want to go to Sankarshan now. 1 minute. Let me get everyone's view.
Yes.
If the Prime Minister Sankarshan had been answerable under the Lokpal at the time when the 2G scam was being played out, would it have made a difference in your view?
Arnab, before I answer that, I have very fundamental problems on this issue. Even your own categorization of this panel as the people's panel. Which people's panel? As if the Parliament is not the people's Parliament, as if the government is not the people's government. This is an elected government. There is an elected Parliament. I mean, this civil society so-called people's panel does not represent me. What
I'm on a very
me is the Parliament of this country.
That's all right. But that's the issue is different. The issue is very specific. Sankarshan, regardless of
there are fundamental problems. The whole discourse is being done as if there is a people's panel and there is an anti-people government and an anti-people parliament.
Absolutely
I would love to
right.
get Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad's view on this.
So here's the proposition. Here's the proposition, Sankarshan.
Yes.
Here's the proposition.
Yes, tell me.
Here's the proposition. Suppose we say this is not a people's panel. Suppose we say Prashant Bhushan, Shanti Bhushan, Kejriwal, Kiran Bedi represent nobody. Forget all of that. Suppose we say they all go out. They're immaterial to the whole debate. Let's assume that. I am on a point of whether the Prime Minister should be under the purview of the... What difference does it make to that issue? Should the Prime Minister be under the purview of the Lokpal?
Any public servant in this country should be under the purview of laws that govern this country. If a Prime Minister is corrupt, there is no reason why that Prime Minister...
No, so then I'm answer the question then, Sankarshan. Sankarshan, here's the situation.
I'm answering your question.
No, you didn't. I want a very pointed issue. My pointed issue is this.
Yes, tell me.
The only issue, and I don't want to get into this usual thing, whether they represent people or not. Okay, they represent nobody. They don't represent 1% of this country. Let's assume. But should the Prime Minister be under the purview of the Lokpal? You say they should be. Now the government says they should not be. The political parties say they do not should. The Parliament says they should not be.
I have not said. I have not heard the. I am no spokesman for the government. I am no spokesman for the government, but I have not heard the government yet say he should not be. What I have heard the government say is that there are various options. He could be, he could not be, and he could be under.
Where have you heard Sankarshan the government say? Where have you heard the government say that he should be?
The Home Minister said the other day there are three options. He could be, he could not be, and he could be with due conditions. And I think the Prime Minister should be with conditions.
What?
You cannot have a Prime Minister being interrogated by the Lokpal bill at a time when the country is at war.
If that's the situation, I'm coming to you, Jayanti Natarajan. Finishing first round. Finishing the first round.
Arnab, I hope you let me speak.
I will come to you. Let me get Mr. Bhushan. Let me get Mr. Bhushan, Sankarshan.
In this country does not come. Political authority in this country does not come from a committee that awards prizes in the Philippine Islands. It comes from the people of this country.
Right.
What
exactly.
authority do people like Mr. Arvind Kejriwal speak from?
Yeah, but it must serve the people. It must serve the people. I just point out that if I'm not mistaken, the then chair of the standing committee on the Lokpal in 2001 had himself recommended that Prime Minister should be under it. Even Vajpayee had agreed to that. Simple people will ask what changed between 2001 and now. Prashant Bhushan, my question to you is...
Sankarshan is saying. When did the government say that they made up their mind? There are discussions going on. Actually, Arnab, you are precipitating something far too early.
I am asking the questions.
The question is, it's a debate which is going on. This is a matter which cannot be decided, howsoever popular.
The position of the government on the 30th of May.
It is a matter that can only be decided by the Parliament of India.
Now let me make a point.
This entire discourse that my good friend Ravi Shankar Prasad just now gave. What does he say about the fact that the RSS at their Pratinidhi Sabha nominated
I don't want to politicize. We both focused.
Ramdev to be the patron of the anti-corruption movement?
Let's stay focused.
What does he say to what happened in Puttur and Karnataka?
Jayanti Natarajan.
But then you allowed him a full 3 minutes of saying how the RSS is not connected.
I will.
And you will not allow me to rebut
No, ma'am, that's not true. I will come straight to you. I just want to get a point from our fourth panelist and then I go straight to the debate. The second part of this is open debate.
Okay.
I must ask, therefore, that if Prashant Bhushan, if the situation is this, that there is no debate over whether the Prime Minister, do you agree with this view that there is no debate on whether the Prime Minister should be in or out? And that this is a debate being precipitated only by the media and maybe by Times Now? Yes.
Well, in the meeting on the 30th of May, all the 5 government members on this Lokpal panel said that in their view, the Prime Minister should not be within the ambit of the Lokpal. Surprisingly, these 3 out of these 5 members had taken up clear positions as recently as in March this year, saying that the Prime Minister should be within the ambit of the Lokpal. Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, as chairman of the Standing Committee on the Lokpal in 2001, had taken up this clear position that the Prime Minister should be within the ambit. Mr. Veerappa Moily, as the Law Minister, had piloted a bill or had forwarded a bill to the Home Minister saying that the Prime Minister should be included as recently as January this year. In March this year, Mr. Chidambaram also said that yes, Prime Minister should be included. Ms. Jayanti Natarajan is herself chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Whistleblower, on the Whistleblower Act, where she says that Prime Minister must be within the investigative ambit of the whistleblower. That means whistleblower can blow the whistle on the Prime Minister, and an independent investigative agency must investigate the Prime Minister. Now, I don't understand what has happened between March and now for the government to take a complete somersault on this and dig its heels in, so much so that all the state governments have been made to say that we agree with whatever our party is saying in the central government.
Okay, now here, Jayanti Natarajan, factually there is a point here, and it is true, isn't it, that the Law Ministry draft bill clearly said Prime Minister is under the purview of the Lokpal. The rethink is recent. The rethink on the position is recent.
You know, this is why
this Parliamentary Standing Committee has just come with Ms. Jayanti Natarajan as the chairperson of that
I would like Ms. Natarajan now to
on the
respond.
whistleblower.
Yes, now let her respond to you. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We have said in our standing committee, of which I have the honor of chairing, that the protection should be given to whistleblowers who blow the whistle on any public servant, including the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, everybody in the Council of Ministers, actually including the judiciary. But that is not the point. We are talking about the Lokpal bill. And at this point of time, I have a twofold point, which is there is a national debate taking place. And I believe that whatever was discussed at the drafting meeting, which Mr. Bhushan was present and I wasn't present, I'm not aware what the ministers said there, all these are still discussions. How does Mr. Bhushan not know that the government or my party or parliament may not take a stronger view on this, may not make it an even tougher law? We don't know yet.
So
all I'm trying to say
is there a change in position? Are you saying there can be a change in position from the position taken on 30th May that the PM should be left out? Are you saying that position is not a final position?
But Arnab, why are you not waiting for a discussion to be complete before jumping to conclusions?
I am only taking what was said last at face value.
And why are you focusing?
I am taking what was said last at face value.
Prime Minister, why are you not focusing upon real constitutional issues, such as can a judiciary be under the Lokpal bill?
No, why? Let's look at the Prime Minister issue. We'll look at all one by one. Let's look at the Prime Minister issue.
Why are you not concentrating?
Why? What about the PM
Why
issue?
are you not concentrating? No, I want to ask you, Arnab.
You're asking
why
me?
will you not carry this? Because this is a much larger, which is a much larger angle.
Because you see,
why will you
because
not
Ms.
carry this
Natarajan,
discussion
because Ms.
forward?
Natarajan, let me explain.
Will the Lokpal, no, excuse me, will the Lokpal become a super ombudsman who has authority over the Prime Minister as well as the judiciary? How will you appoint the Lokpal?
No, because it would.
Why is the discussion
some would
not
say,
focused?
Some would say it will. Some would say, Ms. Natarajan, I want to actually Ravi Shankar Prasad let him respond to your bigger issues. Some would say that making the Prime Minister bring him under Lokpal will strengthen the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister can then turn around and tell allies who have run amok that I cannot let you run amok because I too am under the Lokpal, and hence therefore coalition dharma is not a reason for allowing this level of, for allowing the wrongs to carry. The Prime Minister himself has said in the past that coalition dharma is holding me back.
On it.
Yes, ma'am.
We've not taken a stand on it. Why are you assuming anything?
Okay.
What are you debating really when we've not taken a stand?
I heard the stand on the 30th of May.
Except for what Mr. Prashant Bhushan says, and I don't question it. These are still discussions which are going on in a drafting committee. I don't question what he says. All I'm saying is, you don't know our final stand yet.
Okay. No, that's not the final stand,
Mr. It's in Parliament.
Mr. Prasad, you take that at face value, and what is your final stand on the inclusion of the Prime Minister?
No, as far as the inclusion of Prime Minister is concerned, first of all, we don't know the government's position. Today, Pranab Mukherjee has categorically stated yesterday in Calcutta that the PM should not be included. But the loquacious General Secretary of the Congress Party, the one and only Digvijay Singh, has stated that the PM must be included. We don't know the government's position or the Congress Party's position. The government has to pilot the bill, and therefore we have stated, we know the government position, let's have a meaningful dialogue. We don't know what is going on between the civil society members and the government except for knowing to the media. Therefore, we have formally stated we would like to be acquainted and of your considered view, and then we will react. On a general proposition, I remember Bajpayee said that PM must be included. There are a view of many of us, including mine, that he must be included. There are contrary view also. Today I can tell you that even Justice J.S. Verma and Venkat Charaiya, the two eminent chief justices of India, have publicly stated, whose bona fide is not suspect at all, that the PM should not be included. The same has been the view of the Constitutional Review Committee. But one thing I would like to flag today, and I would like the debate to be lifted a little higher, and that is indeed very important. Yes, the country is distressed over corruption and the country wants tougher law. But we have to be alive to one situation, and let the country know through this Times Now important channel or now, that the Supreme Court arrogated to itself the power to appoint judges, Supreme Court and High Court judges both, in 1993. Today it is 2011. Today the government has practically no role in appointment of judges of High Court and Supreme Court. Can we say that we have all the good judges? Some of the most corrupt judges of High Court.
No, what is the relation? Please be direct tonight, Mr. Prasad. Please be direct. You are hinting something.
Let me complete.
You are hinting at something.
Let me complete or no, if you interrupt. I am provoking a debate. All these appointment of judges having lacking in integrity of High Court and Supreme Court was done by a collegium system, by the Supreme Court, in which the government has the minimum role. Therefore, accountability has to be at all levels. I am deliberately saying it. Let the
Take a position, Mr. Prasad.
And
you are saying,
Mr.
Prasad, I request you tonight. I request you tonight, Mr. Prasad.
Can I say something here?
Okay, Sankarshan, go on.
I just want to add to what Mr. Prasad just said. Accountability is a very key question.
Only one thing.
Accountability is a very key question. Sure, go ahead.
Can I say just one thing, Arno? It's very important. I completely agree with Sankarshan on one issue. With my always good wishes to the civil society friends, and some of the politicians have done something which they deserve to be condemned, but condemning the entire political process.
No, but nobody is.
Calling the parliament as a circus, whoever done it, is something not good.
No, one second. Why can't we remain focused on the subject? You see now what happens, Mr. Prasad, is
I'm glad
we remain focused on the subject. This is not even the subject. My subject is very clear.
It is the subject.
Should the Prime Minister...
No, it is the subject. It is the nub of the subject. This is the nub of it.
Nub of the subject is very simple, Sankarshan, actually. The nub of the subject is, should a Prime Minister never face action on criminal liability, however serious the charge?
Of course he should. Of course he should. Of course he should. But the issue is, as Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad said, accountability. Who are these so-called people's panel accountable to? 10,000 people, 50,000 people maybe? That doesn't even make a small assembly constituency in this country. And we don't even know they are accountable to those 50,000 people, or 10,000 or 5,000, these little clutches of people that appear behind television cameras, shown live. There's a big upsurge in the country. We have an elected parliament, for God's sake.
But that's all right. But question is simple.
Government.
Again,
no, that's not.
The question is very focused.
Please let me complete.
Question is focused.
In a democracy, it is focused. I am not for a moment saying the Prime Minister should not be brought to book for acts of commission and omission which go beyond the...
Who will do it?
Beyond the law.
Who will do it?
I am not... There is a law which will do it. Or have a Lokpal that will do it.
Well, the
don't
CBI...
have a fascist sitting there. Do not have a fascist sitting in the Lokpal's chair who will say...
Okay, I let Mr. Prashant Bhushan... Coming to Jayanti right after that. Because he's made some direct points...
Who is Arvind Kejriwal to insist that they should have a videography? What sanction does he have?
Okay,
I want to question these guys. What sanction are they coming from?
I will let Mr.